Welcome to the Night Temple, a weekly podcast about art, memory, and inspiration.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Night Temple. And we're here today with Yusef from Blood, Sweat and Tears, fashion label, also now a filmmaker.
Yeah, director.
Director.
Director to the belt.
Yeah.
Doing too much.
We're your hosts. I'm Carisa.
I'm Andrew.
And we're from Night Tongue.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And this is the Night Temple podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I feel like the description of Blood, Sweat and Tears on the website is just so magical that we want to start today by actually reading it, because it's just gorgeous and it describes what you do as a label, and I love it. So
Blood, Sweat and Tears clothing was founded in 1998 by two brothers and is based in Atlanta and Los Angeles, 100% made on US soil. Like the great fashion houses of our forebears, we make all of our garments from start to finish, designing, weaving, pattern making, cutting and sewing. Our artwork and designs express our emotions and perspectives with the goal of sparking ideas in others that inspire change. BS&T is about humanity, the essence of which is multidimensional and contradictory. It is a home for those who don't know where they fit in, the oddballs, the loners, even the heroes. There's enough room for everyone in our house. The only creative direction for us is motherfucking forward.
Yeah. I was waiting for that part.
so excellent. So I mean, what a description for what you do. It's like,
Yeah, it definitely. Not even hearing you read it, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
yeah.
But it definitely. That definitely describes everything.
What led you to fashion specifically, to art specifically? Like, was this something from childhood? Tell us
Definitely
about
from
you.
childhood. So with the company is my brother and I. H. Imhotep, he's also an artist as well. So as kids at an early age, our parents, they kind of encouraged us to be creative, and we kind of got like that entrepreneurial spirit from them. And so we used to have like all our toys were pretty much creative, like Legos, puzzles. They used to supply us with endless amounts of paper. We used to make stuff out of paper, toilet roll rolls, and we would be entertained with that.
Yeah.
And I think also too, drawing. My mother, she drew a little bit. She was an artist. My father, he did a lot of technical drawing, and so we used to go and he had like the drafting kit, and he would get mad at us if we didn't bring his stuff and put it back in the right place, because he had all the expensive lead pencils.
Oh, wow.
And so we sneak in there and borrow some stuff, and that was so. Also, too, they would expose us to different, take us to museums, plays. And as far as on the fashion side, my mother, she sold, a lot of our clothing, costumes. And so we would always just follow her, we'd be in fabric stores.
Yeah.
We love going to the fabric store along with her. And we'd just be in there looking at fabric, picking out stuff. It was it was fun to us.
Yeah.
And even when she goes shopping, in the we might be in the shoe department. I still look in the women's shoe department to this day. I'll just stop through and be, oh, those are tight, for real. So she show us through. We oh yeah, those are nice. She'd be flipping through stuff, and we look at it. So we kind of developed she had great taste.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what kind of pushed us in that direction. And paper, I had these because I used to make stuff that I during school. I was highly distracted in class. I didn't really like school. I used to make these paper people, wrestlers.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? They had spring, make spring legs and arms. And they we used to make everything that we saw. We used to make it out of something.
Yeah.
If it was a TV show, we'd make our version of it. Or a cartoon.
That's amazing.
We draw it, so we were super creative.
So you grew up in Detroit.
No, Lansing.
in Lansing, Michigan.
But in Michigan,
which happens to be where Andrew was actually born.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, because we're born in the same hospital.
Yeah, it's crazy. See, it's like meant to be. Yeah. I swear, like everything has a, it's a reason.
Yeah. So you're in Lansing until when?
Yeah.
We weren't there for that long. My parents went to school.
Probably went to the same school that your parents went to.
Yeah, that my dad went to.
That your dad
yeah,
went
they
to.
ended up. They were in Michigan State.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where you're.
Yeah, that's where my dad was. Yeah.
Oh, Michigan State. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? They may know each other. My dad.
It's possible.
Yo, really, yo.
And then you moved to Detroit.
A lot of our family's from Detroit.
Okay.
My parents, my mother's from Detroit, and my father's from Pontiac, which are really close.
Okay.
And so there was always this thing. That was our Detroit was like our version of New York to us.
Yeah.
Because that was like the major city.
Yeah.
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 Kind of New York was further. So
Yeah.
like Detroit was like, it's a lot different. It was changed now, but it was like progressive. So you kind of, that was like the major city. You want to go there.
Yeah. I mean, and good music scene and stuff like that as well.
Music.
Yeah.
Grew up a lot of music. My brother played the sax for a little while,
Yeah.
but he was more so art.
But you had other stuff going on.
Yeah,
I
you
think
do.
we did more so art.
Is it just the two of you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you can create your own world together,
Right.
As kids,
And we've been
And you're
super
close in age.
Yeah, super
Yeah.
close. So art was the and I think it was now I appreciate it a lot more, but back then it just wasn't a lot of being a visual artist was a little different because you didn't have a lot of, besides for you go to museums and see, most of those were like dead artists.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know any like living artists making
Yeah.
a career.
Yeah.
Not like it is now. It's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you appreciate it more.
Yeah.
Before it was just like people weren't really encouraged. You say you could draw, like, okay, yeah, you could just draw, and it wasn't. It wasn't really that much support.
Do you feel like maybe the environments that you've moved to have been a factor in that? Just moving to like LA and like.
Well, I moved to Atlanta first.
Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah, because I went to Atlanta and I went to Morehouse.
Okay.
So I got further and further away from Michigan.
Yeah.
Because Michigan's a cool place to grow up, but then you gotta, if you want to like flourish, you need to go.
Yeah.
Because one thing it does do is you end up becoming an individual because you have to be.
Yeah.
Because if you're different, people are gonna constantly rib you and make fun of you, so you end up standing on like fuck you, this is what I'm doing. So when you go, you get your identity. You either lose your identity or gain your identity.
I mean, I think that's common with like a lot of places around the world. For me, because I can relate to that just growing up in a suburban environment. You either become that thing or you get washed out or
give up.
But if you do become that thing, it's like you really become it in a strong way where the voice is, your expressive voice is really strong because it's been challenged and it's stood up to challenge. So it has that, depth to it.
And see, that's why I can see that. I can see that with y'all. It makes sense. Now that you're explaining it, that makes exact see.
Yeah.
If you stick with it,
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Some people didn't.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had periods where I wouldn't, I kind of like shy away from it, trying to do the cool thing, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But I never like completely abandoned it.
I mean, your style is so strong and unique. Like, I can't even imagine you being able to abandon it. 'Cause
Right.
It's like who you are.
Yeah. So it was kind of like, I really didn't have a choice to some extent.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got a lot of support from my parents. I will
That's
say
really
that,
good.
But it kind of was a setup because, like, damn, what else do I do? Like, 'cause it's sure. Like, my mother, she was sure. Like, but that those lanes weren't always there.
Yeah.
So you had to find them, and we're still finding those lanes.
Yeah.
They're better now, but
Yeah.
You know, you're not always that sure as an artist.
No, I mean,
definitely.
You know.
you're always forging ahead
Right.
somewhere new. You don't know where it's going to take you.
No.
Or if you're going to die doing it.
Exactly. On just faith, like,
Yeah, a lot of faith.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you move to Atlanta for that reason? And did you move with your brother? I guess is my next
Well,
question too.
like I had moved. He was in at the time. He was either in Miami or Cleveland. 'Cause
Okay.
He went to, like, he got out. Well, I kind of watched him. Like, he got out early. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as, because he graduated when he was like 16 in high school. So that kind of
Wow.
made it kind of weird too, because he was younger. So he was really had to pioneer a lot because he was
Yeah.
an older brother. So he had to really bump his head. So I watched whatever mistakes he made.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why he's so fearless now. But so he ended up moving to Miami
Okay.
for the Art Institute. So he went there first, and then I think he may have been in Cleveland. But when I moved to Atlanta, I moved by myself. No one
Okay.
was in Atlanta at all. But I liked Atlanta. It was progressive.
Yeah.
You know, I liked. I went to Morehouse, so of course you had like the Spike Lee movies, like School of Days. So you have like, you see that, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, okay, that was one of the reasons, like,
That led you
motivated.
there.
Yeah,
Okay,
like,
that's
know,
cool.
You see that, and
Yeah.
it was just cool, like seeing that. One thing too, Atlanta has a lot of black people.
Yeah.
The percentages are high.
Yeah.
So you get a seat, that's kind of cool coming from Michigan, whereas you may not have the same representation.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so it's just a whole
Yeah, it's
different
like a
environment.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Morehouse in itself is like, you get people from so many different places from around the country. So all of all the different cities.
Right.
Like whereas in Michigan, people don't really, in Michigan, people are mostly from Michigan. Unlike, like LA, people come to LA. People come to New York. People are now starting to come to Atlanta. So you have people from all different places. So it's cool seeing so many from different places, because,
Yeah.
and I like that.
And did your brother join you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So eventually he came back and he did fine arts at Morehouse.
But when did you start the Blood, Sweat, and Tears?
Blood, Sweat, and Tears, like officially, I think the name, probably we trademarked that in like 2000.
Yeah.
And then like our start date, we say pretty much like 2003.
Yeah.
We had a store in Atlanta for a while,
Wow.
like a flagship store.
That's
It's
awesome.
kind of interesting how we did it, because we actually started selling like online before, which it was a lot different back then.
It was
Yeah,
like
that's
before it was a
really-
big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we actually started selling online, and we did pretty good.
That's awesome.
And we actually made money doing that.
Yeah.
And then we opened up a store, and then the store allowed us to. We got some press. I forgot what, maybe from a couple magazines. And then what happened is we got picked up from some boutiques in Japan. So we actually started in Japan first, and the store allowed us to get to Japan.
Wow. That is wild. I
And
didn't
then so Japan, and then another. So what happened is, like, then some stores in New York, went to Japan and saw the brand and found out we were in the States, and that's how
Okay.
we ended up in New York.
Right.
So it was predominantly in Japan and New York. And then when that started picking up, we had the store. It was like we were always manufacturing stuff in LA.
Okay.
And the production manager or that was running our stuff, stuff wasn't getting done. So I
Okay.
actually came out to LA. Like, my brother's like, look, man, you got to go out there and check up on it. So I was like, all right, cool. So I went and checked up on it, and realized, like, so I was sleeping on some friends' couches because I had an
Yeah.
apartment in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And, I just started shadowing him because it just wasn't getting done. And I found out with that industry, it's very common. A production manager, they'll be doing everything else but your stuff. So I was just like, look, man, I'll pay you, but I just need to get my shit done.
Yeah.
You know, so just tell me where to go pick the stuff up. And I just kept on doing that to get our stuff done, to facilitate these orders.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where I'd been out here for months.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's like, you know, we had a conversation. He's like, yo, you gonna have to, you probably gonna have to stay out there. I was like, damn, yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I was like, one of my friends, her name was Noriko.
Mm-hmm.
And he was actually a friend of the production manager. And it got to the point where it's like, it kind of run its course. And it's like, look, man, I just can't continue to pay this dude and then do all the work too. This ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So H was like, yo, man, just put the shit put it in storage.
Yeah.
And just do it yourself.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, my stomach was just like, it's just not like, I can't do this myself. I was like, all right, we did it, put it in storage, and you just, you're gonna have to figure it out, you know?
And how long ago was this?
That would have been like 2007,
Wow.
5, 7, somewhere around there.
Right.
Then, like, so I called up Noriko, and she helped out a lot.
Yeah.
Like, just how to, like, she helped me out as far as, like, figuring out how to do production.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
figuring out how to do production. And, yeah, we just figured it out.
And
Just
now
walked
you're
in the factories.
running it still?
Yeah.
Right.
I still run all the manufacturing.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So that's how I got stuck in LA.
Join the Night Temple subscription. Exclusive behind the scenes footage. Exclusive Art Share community space. Monthly Zoom Art Share hangout. Art gallery, film showcase and music playlists. Member only free or discount events. Community profile space. Merch and event discounts. Exclusive night tongue music and concerts. Join now. So when you started the label, like how did that happen? Like how did you guys figure out, you know, oh hey, we want to
Why don't we
like
do
fashion's
these
what we want to do, like,
fashion-
you know, like did you
yeah.
just start making stuff for yourself?
Was
Did it
there an
jump to-
inspiration?
Yeah, we always
Yeah,
used to
like-
make stuff for ourselves.
And were you inspired by people? Like are there like
Was there a
Oh,
are there, like
yeah.
styles, like designers,
Yeah, like
labels that you were kind of inspired by?
all of the brands throughout the 90s, 80s, 70s.
Yeah.
Like we used to like follow a lot of brands, just major fashion brands, whether it's you know, whether you have your Versace, Chanel,
So like high fashion.
yeah, high
kind of-
fashion. Cause my mother, like, you know, who else? I think she like Saint Laurent. And then you had the people in the 90s. You had your Polo, you had Jabot, you had Guess, you had Armani, a lot of different brands.
Dolce & Gabbana.
Dolce & Gabbana, that was like
Yeah.
especially during the 90s.
Yeah.
Gucci, Tom Ford, all of them. So yeah, all of those different people.
So it's just
And-
like something that you absorbed from the
Yeah, like
90s.
definitely wanted to make our
fashion.
own. You knew, like, cause we want, like, always wanted to make our own stuff.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know exactly. We made what we could,
Yeah.
but we
And
had
you're
access
wearing
to.
your own
Yeah.
stuff right now,
Yeah,
just for
definitely.
like people watching. I mean, and I'm just, you know, I've seen with this like incredible
Yeah.
stitching and patchwork, with a lot of your stuff, just this like this beautiful like delicate kind of artistry.
Hey,
Yeah, that's connected, and it's like now part of the tapestry of your story where there's this paper and the little people, and I can see how that all formed into the clothing,
yeah,
and your mum making your clothing, and then you guys making your own clothing beyond that.
and that's probably the major thing that probably, you know, pushed us into that, because she was already making our clothing,
Yeah,
so
was a natural normal thing.
yes, and she used to make my father's clothing. You know, and she was really good. Like,
Yeah.
really good. And so you know, when you see that, you automatically want to make your own.
Yeah.
So of
yeah.
course we love fashion. So you get to a point where you have stuff that you don't see that
Yeah.
you want to make, or you can't or you can't afford.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like You know, like I can't, like, yeah,
crazy.
I can't afford that. I better try to make it.
Yeah.
And that's what it, so a lot of that.
But it feels like high, like that you can tell with the quality of the material of your clothing, it has that same high quality, like high fashion substance to it.
Yeah.
Which you can definitely tell, like, from being around the clothing in person. I'm not sure, how much the camera's going to see, but everyone should just check out the website because, you definitely get the feeling this is not your everyday item of clothing. This is a high fashion.
And when we started, you didn't have, it wasn't as easy to do, like manufacturing.
Yeah.
So we actually, like, now, like cut and sew is a big thing, but we started off, when we pretty much started off cut and sew. So like our competition was all of the major brands. At the time you had like True Religion, Seven, and we were literally like working with some of the same factories. So we always had a certain level of quality, especially since shipping to Japan, you kind of have to.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So we always, it was like our first stuff, we actually had that quality. Yeah. And I look back at it, some of the stuff I go back to, and I'm like, damn, how the hell did we, like some of the stuff we won't even make anymore because it's like trying to do it just be so expensive.
Yeah.
But I look at it like, how sometimes people go back and look at some of their first stuff and it's like, it's okay. Well, our stuff was really elaborate.
Wow.
Because it was like, we started off with people who were already like experts.
Yeah.
And we kind of picked it up from there. And I always wanted like I never really liked starting with like the basic stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I really didn't like, I know how to sew now. But even like, I used to sew a little bit on the home sewing machine. I didn't really like that.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to join with the table.
The
big industrial. So I never really pursued it like that. So I had a lot of people doing the patterns. We had people doing patterns, sample making. But then, a lot of things happen. Like either these people stop, they can't get it done.
Yeah.
So you got someone got to do it. You start noticing stuff they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
So you start messing around with it. You pick it up. Like, okay, let me mess around with this. Next thing you know, you learn pattern making.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, in the process of pattern making, you figure out like you got to sew up all these test samples.
Yeah.
So now you end up learning sewing, and then you end up asking contractors, how to do stuff. How do you do that? How do you put a zipper in?
Yeah.
How do you do that hem? It's like, let me show you. Show me that. Okay, cool. Show me that. Okay, cool. And next thing you know how to sew like everything.
So it's like a matter of just being like hands-on and present and just like involved in the process of the manufacturing.
Necessity.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stuff was like, everything has been, I hate to say it, I learned a lot of stuff out of necessity.
Yeah.
And it was, some of the stuff there was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't get done,
it was a problem.
we don't continue. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, I hate to have to learn that way. But fortunately, unfortunately, that's how I learned like a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So you have these like beautiful collections, right? So we've got the lines.
Okay. Yeah, the lines. Yeah.
I mean that.
I gotta do more with that.
That's an amazing concept.
I gotta do more with that.
Do you want to describe it for us, or we can read the description?
Describe it for us.
Yeah, describe it for us. Describe the inspiration for the lines and...
What was the lines? I'm trying to think of like when I first started doing that. The lines was... it was probably, I was just messing around with it. It's a particular sewing machine, and I'm always I like using certain things sometimes the way it's not supposed to be used.
Yeah.
That's always been like an underlying thing.
Yeah.
You kind of like, when people say don't use it that way, it was like, well, why can't you? We're going to use it this way. I don't know what y'all talking about. So it kind of started that way, and it was kind of cool because it was like, for people who haven't seen it, it's kind of like a loose way of creating like artwork with stitches.
Yeah.
You know,
And they seem like they're all kind of unique as well. Like,
they are.
Okay, that's amazing. Just having an item of clothing with the lines that are like just this free form, kind of free flow of like lines that are part of the outfit.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that it was a great way to break away from the technical aspect of clothing too, because it gets super technical.
Yeah.
You know, like because I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like this way. It's kind of like freestyle. It's like a painting.
Yeah.
You know, and it's you really get a when you're making like the lines.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen my artwork. A lot of my paintings, I use a lot of. I had a period where I was doing a lot of bold lines, so it kind of follows that. So the inspiration is that like it's a
free form,
a little bit more. So I look at it as art.
Like they're paintings on clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I may even start incorporating some of it in like artwork.
Yeah.
And, you know, just like combine the two.
Yeah.
You know, with the paint and the even outside of clothing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
You know.
It's really beautiful. The whole concept is really beautiful.
Thank you.
And then you have Old York and
the old York is definitely a staple in New York. That apple is pretty classic. My brother had designed that apple. And it was like, I mean, I feel like it rivals like the New York Yankees logo personally.
And it's really incredibly beautiful, like unbelievably
you know what I'm saying? Like
beautiful.
one of those iconic pieces of artwork or logos, symbols.
Totally.
So we got like a heavy following in Brooklyn. We have some notoriety, but we're not like full. Like a lot of people may not know us.
Yeah.
But we do have like a little cult following, especially with that Old York series.
The Old York
in
stuff
Brooklyn in particular. You have like
beautiful.
people who had like got tattoos.
Wow.
That logo.
Cool.
You know, which is. I was supposed to put the dove. I've been meaning to get the tattoo.
Yeah.
My brother has one here. I probably will get that. I don't have any tattoos, but I am gonna get a dove.
Yeah.
I do want that. But
it's really beautiful.
Yeah, and it's iconic. It's got an iconic
It's
look to it. Yeah.
Definitely,
that had a story too.
Yeah.
It wasn't
story?
meant to be a dove actually.
Really?
And no, I didn't. I had because I love symbols, logos. Like I love like the cross. You know, Star of David, squares, like just symbols. If you look at them, like if you look at the symbols, what they represent, it's definitely pretty substantial.
Yeah.
But if you just look at the actual, how come like none of these like these philosophies or religions or whatever it may be, they don't have any like terrible symbols. So
like aesthetically, you mean?
Aesthetically,
Yeah.
You never see like a
like
bad
beautiful.
design, with a bad design. So it's kind of like if you're gonna have something legit, it's gotta be like good,
beautifully created.
Right. So to be able to create something like that is always a goal.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like with music, you have like to create what you think is perfect.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. I wanted to create like a perfect symbol. And so it just started off as an X. I actually have like the different pieces of what it looked like.
Wow.
And it morphed into this. Maybe because I had it turned a certain way.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like a bird to me.
Yeah.
You know. But then people were like, oh, that's a dope dove. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, we called ourselves a people's brand. At the time, and we used to use like images of like Castro, and we had a lot of stuff like Che Guevara and stuff, and it's kind of like symbolic because he had like like that dove that landed on, I think it might have been his left shoulder, and it kind of like, and so so it's kind of like stuff. I just think stuff happens, like we kind of just download stuff.
Yeah.
It's about like I don't know where
subconscious.
It comes from.
Yeah.
But I think it usually has a lot, meaning. I guess we put the love in it and the intent's there.
Yeah.
And then from there, I don't try and label it too much. Kind of let people, like you said, if you look at the vision statement, kind of let kind of inspire, let people take it from where I don't want to control stuff.
I don't
you do your part and then
I don't want
have a
to
relationship
fashion. I don't want to dominate fashion or anything. I just want to expose people to stuff. Because I was exposed to a lot of stuff to get to where I'm at that I realize now. Because you start to say, why do I like this? Why do I like that? A lot of that is because of what I was exposed to.
Nighttime, euphoric bliss state. Elevate your mind, body, and spirit. Wash away all tension and infuse yourself in the ecstatic floral wonder that is nighttime, euphoric bliss state.
For you as an artist, is there a theme or a connection that you have to what you express, like something that ties it all together? Like you mentioned before, that if somebody tells you that this is the way to do it, that you are like, why? Let's try it this way. Is that like something that's consistent for you? Yeah, across all the mediums.
That's the thing. That's why it's like we always say the only creative direction.
Is motherfucking forward.
Because there's I haven't been able to pinpoint what exactly it is that specifically, I don't like categories. And it's helped us because we've managed to stay around for it's great because we never get pigeonholed. It's kind of hard because we don't necessarily benefit as much as that we could if we just decided to just stay in that one lane. But I feel like we've been doing it so long, I still feel like we need to set an example that you can make it without having to conform. Per se. Because I don't think you should have to. If it's art, you shouldn't have to conform. And I think ultimately, in the long run, you'll stifle your creativity. You may win for a minute. Hopefully, you make a lot of money. Because you're not gonna, and because once you get out of practice, exploring, sometimes it's hard to get back. To doing that. But we've always stayed doing too much. Still here doing too much.
But that's so you guys really essentially a fundamental thing is that you're explorers. Expanders, explorers, rule breakers.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we want that spirit. That's the spirit that we want to bring. So that's when you have the outcasts, people who don't fit in. Double down in that.
Double down on it. I like that.
Especially now, it's definitely a place for people.
Is there something that brought you to that philosophy yourself? Did you feel like an outcast?
Always.
And that's so connected to being the explorer too, right?
It is
somehow outcast explorer too.
What's the word? Maverick.
Oh, that's even bad.
It's maverick. Because I think you are a maverick because you're always looking for that future thing too. The only ways forward. It's
definitely.
It's the explorer, definitely. And it's doing that. So in the theme of that, you've now directed your first music video.
My first music video.
So what was that experience like? Firstly, that's something that came to you, right? You
I had
did a petition.
You've been making videos for the label forever.
For the label. Not too long, since 2019.
Oh, really? Is that it? Oh, man, you've got such a strong style.
I started in 2019. And it was an extension of a project that we had done before. Actually, my brother had this quick style of editing that he had, and we had someone else do it, and they didn't quite do it like we wanted it. And then pandemic, had a lot more time, and once again, we had to find in my head, I was like, you had Instagram and stuff, but it's all right, photos, but I'm not necessarily a photographer per se, even though I do some photography too. But it's like, all right, what would I like to do? Like, cause I don't even like the whole thing. The marketing side was always to me, it's like anytime someone said marketing, I'm like, yeah, like, so I had to stop looking at it like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I just started looking at, well, what would I want to make?
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't know. I just got in the Creative Suite, Adobe Creative Suite.
Yeah.
So it had Premiere. So I was like, you know what? Yo, let me try and make some of these videos. And I started making them. And I had like, you know, essentially what I'm doing now is it's more advanced, but it's kind of like the first video that I made, like the style.
Wow.
And I started doing it, because I really didn't like video, like, or film. I direct, oh no, I did not want to touch it. I hated the look of Premiere.
Wow.
Oh, definitely. Because it looked like the music editing software.
Yeah.
You see people, I was like, I hated the look of it.
Yeah.
But I started using it, and, you know, I took a liking to it. Showed it to some, like, I had another friend. He was like, it's cool, but it's too fast. You need to slow it down. I didn't listen to him.
Yeah.
Like, nah, this is what I'm doing. And I just kept on doing that. Eventually, you know, things, you look at it, it's kind of like the style of stuff. I mean, mine is still a little bit different, but then he's like, oh, that's cool what you're doing. And then everybody was like, oh, that's cool what you're doing. And the artist, which is Nate Butler, he had actually liked the videos from the very beginning.
Wow.
You know, so those little Instagram posts. That's why I don't hate Instagram.
Yeah.
Not completely. But had I not been doing those, somebody's always watching.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so from doing that, you know, eventually that's how I got asked to do like the music, a real music video.
Yeah.
Like with the heavyweight cameras and stuff, and
That's wild.
it was a whole production.
Yeah.
Completely different.
So was it your
experience.
first time like working with like a big team? Like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which that's another reason why I do so much myself.
Yeah.
So I don't have to have a huge team.
Yeah.
You know. Now, I mean, I had a team like with the clothing, but that's
Yeah.
different. I've gotten used to
Yeah, you know
that.
it. Yeah.
You know, and so I know I tell people what to do when it comes.
Yeah.
But with the film is completely different because it's relying on so many different parts.
It's a really collaborative thing.
Yeah.
Doing film.
Fortunately, I had a friend helping me out, and that's his specialty. Is he goes by designer DP, and he's actually done like feature films.
Okay. Wow.
And so, you know, he was a DP, the cinematographer, and it was in Atlanta. I almost didn't do it, but I had this thing where I like just say yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
For real, I've been trying to like just say yes, because I noticed that. Think about it. If you don't say yes, ultimately someone else gets the job, and you see what they do, and it's like, oh, I could have done better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because you figured, you know,
Yeah.
You just live with regret, and
Right.
and you don't grow.
right.
Saying yes
So
forces
just say
you to
yes,
grow.
and if you can't figure it out, you could always be like, I can't do it. And that's another thing too, because I had full creative control too. So you know,
that's
had I not
really
had
good.
full, because given the time frame and just a lot of like it just didn't have room for any like it had to have been done a certain way,
Yeah.
because you know like, and it's a, you know, like on this, like if I'm gonna do it, I had to, like, I feel like I had an idea to do it, and I felt like it's a great idea if it's done right. I believe that you kind of have to. I definitely want to get input for sure.
Yeah.
But if you have a vision and you really feel passionate about that vision, if it's done a certain way, I feel like it'll have a certain impact.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of like, you know, I get input definitely if I felt it to help. And then certain things I you know, person might have wanted to do, I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And fortunately, the end result was I'm super confident in it. And it came
Yeah.
out really good.
I'm excited
And-
to see it.
Yeah. But now it was crazy. A lot of definitely being uncomfortable. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it was definitely an uncomfortable thing.
growth. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like growth is just uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If growth feels comfortable, you've kind of been there before.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that. It's faith, and it's that growth, and it's that
Right.
explorative spirit. You never know where things are going to land. And,
Right.
And it doesn't feel natural because you haven't been there before.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because you haven't been there before. And that's why it feels difficult and hard.
Yeah.
You know.
But if you stick with it and if you expand, then...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I definitely wanted to... There's been a lot of times when you want... I not necessarily quit, but you just wanted to stop. I will never quit.
Yeah.
I've said it before.
Because what's the direction?
Right. It's just the pressure. Like, the pressure can be overwhelming, but you know, like, you have to finish. Like, you're going to finish.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully on time.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got to finish. That's one thing. If I was going to quit, I would have done it long. It's too late to quit.
Yeah.
I've been doing it too long.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a quote, like, I think Nipsey Hussle had a quote like that.
Okay.
He was like, you know, it's not that I'm just that strong, but he was like, what I did, you know, I'm not saying that I had complete faith in everything, but he was like, I just didn't quit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's me, because I mean, I got confidence, but you know, it wavers. I think confidence is good.
Yeah,
I think people are like, I don't mind when people say that they're like, and I'm always analyzing stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm like, when people say that they're the best at something, and some people are like, he's an asshole, stuff like that.
Yeah.
If they're not good, then I'm kind of annoyed.
Yeah, yeah.
But even still, the fact that, you know, that they're willing to go out there and be like, I'm really good at this.
Yeah.
You know,
it is a really beautiful thing.
I think, and that could inspire, like, and make
Yeah.
you want to be. And I think when people don't like that, sometimes it's because they don't give themselves enough credit.
I agree 100%
You know,
with that.
when's the last time you told yourself
Yeah.
that you were the best?
Yeah.
You know, and because if you told yourself the best, you don't really care. I mean, you don't even not listen to them because you already told yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so maybe you need like people who have a problem with that. Because I like when my friends are confident because it inspires me to be more confident.
Yeah. I mean,
Totally.
but is that kind of confidence just knowing who you are? You know, because I think that is what that is. Like, every person wavers in confidence because whenever you do something new, it's out of the comfort zone. It's forging a new path. But then there's beyond that kind of, you know, minute, you know, movements of confidence. There's just knowing who you are.
Right.
And knowing who you are as an artist at a certain point, if you're an artist at a certain level, you know, where you've been doing it for a certain amount of time, you do start to know who you are, and you do start to know what skill or what,
Right.
you know,
true.
ability you have, and just I feel like that's another form of faith. That kind of confidence is just another form of faith.
There you go. Exactly.
And it's a faith in like some mystical given gift, you know, some mystically given gift in yourself.
Definitely.
And it's not even like that the self is necessarily responsible for that.
Yep.
Because I think that there's a higher force involved in it. And it's
definitely.
like,
I do too.
yeah, it's like that's when you have that kind of confidence, it's like you have that confidence in that higher force of yourself, that you're in the line of your own truth.
Yep.
And your own personal genius and your own personal truth. If that makes sense. I don't know if I've worded
completely.
that right. but-
Yeah, I think so.
Completely.
And there's humility in that as well.
There's
which
humility
is
in that
weird,
amount
which
of
is a weird,
confidence.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
It's
is a
like,
weird,
you know
weird,
that...
contradiction.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a contradiction of... Because it's humble to some mystical spiritual force that is...
Right.
is flowing through you. Like, I'm the best at this because you have...
Yeah.
You know that connection exists.
That's true.
You know that you can get in the stream of that connection, of that higher...
And self-doubt is a
Force.
function of ego as well.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a function of, like, your highest
Yeah.
self.
Yeah.
Right. So it's almost disrespectful to, like, think of it, like you said, like, to have faith, if you know it's coming from somewhere else, you know, and to not have confidence, that's not necessarily fake.
No, it's not.
To have doubt.
Yeah.
If this is the higher and you're doubting that, that's kind of that's not doing the higher power any service. Like
exactly.
You need to get step it up. I don't know if everybody, if your audience knows how dope of musicians y'all are.
Oh,
musicians and artists, because you're doing this podcast and just amazing. First time I saw y'all, like heard y'all, just amazing. I was like, oh, that's like high level.
Oh, thank you so much.
What I call it, high art.
Well, I mean, I just relate with you too in just like being genre free, and just whatever it is. I guess there is some like element of connection with everything that we that you do, everything that we do. But it's that exploratory thing that is really exciting to me too. I like going outside of the
outside of the bounds.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, keep it like, and even for a person who likes to do one thing, I think it's good to explore. Outside of that, even to keep the ideas, maybe even for the stuff that they always focus on.
Yeah.
And
did you find yourself like rule breaking when you were doing the filmmaking too?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I feel like that
I had to remind myself to not get, for instance, like it was filmed with the Ari Alexa 35. So the footage alone is just pretty. So you just start looking at it, and it's like you don't even want to touch it.
Yeah.
But if you don't touch it, that's what's, technically that's what's going to come out from that camera.
Yeah.
And if you don't touch it, you kind of abandon your style.
Yeah.
So it's like you're torn. Because although you love this footage, you still got to stay. The reason why whatever person selected you was to add whatever it is that you were going to bring, not to just look at footage.
Otherwise, they just
so it's like you snap out of it, get to chopping it up.
Yeah.
If there was a time where like I felt like, all right, okay, you just playing it safe. Nah. Just put, go in.
Yeah.
And so I made sure I just went in, maybe brought it back. And to the point where I feel like I went just far enough without it being crazy. I think I went.
That sounds exciting. I want to see.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So definitely.
Rule breaking.
A lot of rule breaking.
That's awesome.
Leaned in on it.
Yeah, I love that rule breaking in any kind of film, music video, whatever it is.
And that's all I could rely on because I don't have the traditional knowledge.
Right.
I don't have like the knowledge that someone else has. So I gotta lean into
creativity.
what I have.
Yeah.
And so that's what I have. So I'm like, okay, I need to lean into that.
Yeah.
I can't really be concerned with what you're supposed to. And fortunately I think my voice is a little different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think in doing it, I think I have a certain perspective. That, and I'm always trying to get better. I have pinpointed like, okay, I got a certain voice.
I was listening to a podcast the other day that I think it was Guillermo del Toro was quoting Hitchcock. Anyway, so this is just a quote of a quote of a quote, but it was something like style is your mistakes, or like developed into a craft, or something like that. Or something like that. Like, anyway, this is like paraphrase of paraphrase.
That's good to know.
Something like that. Like that's what your identity is. Just it's the things you don't know as much as you know, and just like developing it.
That's good to know because you wanted the best.
Yeah. That's really cool.
I could have got the names wrong. It is what it is.
That's awesome. All right. Well, like, what lies in store for the future?
Oh, well, probably some more directing.
Yeah.
Definitely some more directing.
Who would get you to direct something of ours?
Oh,
that would be awesome.
Definitely. Or I even edit it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You directed, I edited it.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then probably explore more into that, the study of the lines series.
Oh, cool. That stuff's beautiful.
Yeah, probably, you know what? I might get on that this week.
Thanks so much, Yusef.
Thank you
Thank
so
y'all.
much,
Thank y'all.
Yusef.
Thank y'all.
Everyone, check out Blood, Sweat, and Tears and the music video
The
and
music video.
the links.
Links are below.
There above, outside the gate.